Hi everybody, I'm Stacy Ike and we are here at the ABFF Awards and I'm so excited to introduce our winners for Best Documentary. Please tell me your names and your project.
My name is Orderson, director and co-producer for In My Neighbourhood. And In My Neighbourhood is about the legacy of colonial spatial planning and its correlation to gentrification and how it affects a global society. And the film was shot between three different continents, North America, South America and Africa. And we focused on three global cities, Sao Paulo, New York and Cape Town. And it tracks the lives of people who are fighting against gentrification in these three different cities.
Wow, please introduce yourself.
I'm Najma Nuriddin and I'm the co-producer on the documentary.
That's awesome. So what inspired you guys to create a project like this?
Well, I've been living between three continents for the last 12 years of my life. And having made other films and having explored other themes around the key pinnacle effects of intergenerational trauma that's affected by the legacy of colonialism. So I've been living in the US for some time now, and I've been interested in exploring the theme of what does the healing journey look like for us as black people, and how do we undertake without any interference from a colonial superpower of whiteness. So how do we decolonize the process of our own self? So Not In My Neighbourhood is about people who take power back in their hands. So we shot extensively during the primaries of the elections here in the US and kind of looking at this massive real estate mogul, which is Donald Trump, running from the elections while gentrification is happening in New York. And it was really interesting to see the kind of like the nuances of how spatial violence and legalized state violence perpetuates itself. But I think the people have taken power back, and in this film we show that.
That is amazing. What were some of the challenges filming something like that, something so deep and personal?
Well, I mean, it took 5 years, like Kurt said, or maybe a little more than 5 years. So the challenges is like traveling a lot, engaging with a lot of different people, and building relationships with different community members who become activists and having a journey with them for years.
Right.
So traveling a lot is expensive and it's time consuming, but we enjoyed it because we built these bonds with activists who are everyday, residents or citizens who are trying to basically take their lives and their neighborhoods, control of it, back into their own hands and do something so they can preserve themselves pretty much.
Right.
But I think one of the key elements also about how do civil society and civic organizations lobby with their city councillors to look at how development works in the community, because development happens without the community really having a voice.
Right.
So for us it was important to use this film not just as a film as for aesthetic purposes to watch, but as an advocacy piece, that people can actually use wherever you are. If you are faced with the issues around the legacies of kind of spatial violence and legalized state violence. Now, for example, in the US, you look at how gentrification is correlated to police brutality, for example, and how gentrified communities are being policed more and more. So that was really key for us to show. But I think one of the challenges really is not just the methodology of how we make this kind of film, or my approach as a director, how I make films, but also the elements of raising funding for films of this nature shot between three different countries,
Right.
So that was a challenge. I'm from South Africa, and at the time, most of the time while I was making it, I was actually traveling I was living in South Africa at the time, and I was kind of traveling back and forth, So yeah, money, funding is a challenge, but I think, if you have the desire to tell a story, I think you do whatever you have to do,
Right.
Like to quote Malcolm X, by any means necessary.
Right. I'm sure you guys have changed so much from the beginning of this project to now, and AT&T has a new campaign called Dream in Black. Tell me what that means to the both of you.
When I think of Dream in Black, I'm thinking of freedom, really, just like the freedom to feel and do whatever I want in a way that is me following my dreams, So just having that freedom to pursue whatever it is I want to pursue, and as a filmmaker, it's having the freedom to go out there and make my films, really, to make my dreams of my films a reality.
Right.
I mean, to quote, the famous speech by Martin Luther King, the late Martin Luther King, who still lives in our present day, in our realities. And I think if you look at the famous dream speech, you know, and I use that, you know, as a form of inspiration to think about like the sacrifices and the endurance, you know, of us as black people across the world, and you know, how do we dream a new kind of reimagination? How do we reimagine what the future holds for us? And it's really about taking the future in your hands, you know, and making with it. And I think it's a quite exciting time to be alive. There's exciting things happening. Black people are doing a beautiful thing and changing the narrative, you know, that's been perpetuated by Western media of a stereotype and a kind of perpetuation of the blackface and blaxploitation. So it's about decolonizing that narrative, taking power back and using the form of cinema as a weapon, you know, for empowerment, also to reshape, you know, the reality of us as black people across the world.
I couldn't help but notice your pin, Stand With Black Women, so I'm having a moment there. That was incredible to hear you guys' passion behind the project. So again, congratulations. Where can fans find it and catch up with you and see the documentary for themselves?
Thank you. The next place we're going is Black Star Film Festival, so we'll be there in August. We have a few more festivals lined up. We'll be in Durban, South Africa next month, and more festivals, and then online or theaters.
Good, good. And any site or a place they can catch up with you personally?
Yeah, I mean, we're on social media, you know, all the platforms, Twitter, Instagram, etc. Not In My Neighbourhood film. Yeah, it's on there, and I think right now for us is key. I mean, there's a few conversations happening right now with a few distributors and channels.
Good, yeah.
So let's see who bites, you know,
Yes.
and who offers
Yes.
the big up cut.
Right,
so,
right.
yeah, I mean, as independent filmmakers, we appreciate the awards, and but also it's about kind of how do we make our next films.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being at ABFF and sitting with us at AT&T. Congratulations again, and thank you so much for watching, guys.
Thank you so much for having us. Appreciate it.
Of course.